I'm not used to this kind of stuff.
She has a team that normally does this. Obviously, I'm not the team. Team Solandi.
But I'm honored to be here. When Marja called me and asked if I would come speak, it's always a pleasure to come out and speak to students about anything relative to the marketplace. It's just, good morning, good morning, come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in, good morning. It's always a pleasure to come out and basically talk about my journey and about the marketplace, because I do believe that it's part of my life's purpose to kind of just share my stories. I do have quite a bit because I'm a woman of a certain age, so it's truly an honor to be here. I think what I would like, if you would prefer, just to kind of make this where, we're sitting, having conversations. I don't like to really stand and just talk about myself, so my preference is if you have questions or, just want to learn something about me, and I am quite transparent, so there is no question that cannot not be on the table. That's the type of individual that I am. Just don't ask me how much I weigh, because I won't tell you. It's been my birthday. But I definitely would like to, do it that way. I can share a little bit about myself, if you would like. So I am Suzette Solandi. I am an immigrant from the island of Trinidad. I came to the United States when I was a little girl. I was probably about 11 years old. Came to New York City. My mom was already here, and went to high school in New York City, and then went on to college for a little bit until I met someone, got pregnant, and had my first son. At that point, I was now a single mom, 18 years old, so I'm a kid myself, trying to raise a wonderful young man, because he's turned out to be an extraordinary young man. And then, didn't have the opportunity to go to college, so it sucked, because all my friends went on. I was doing exceptionally well in high school, so the expectation was to go on to college and be the best that I can be. And so I had to go out to the working world. And that's when I really sort of had that harsh reality of when you don't have the right skill sets, not having a college degree, you are faced with many challenges in the workplace. Not to say that you don't have the same challenges with a college degree, but I quickly learned to assimilate skill sets and to find people that I could mentor with, that could sort of help me navigate through the marketplace. And also, in doing that, realize what the corporate structure is like. And so at 19 years old, it's pretty hard because you're naive and you're out there in the marketplace and you expect that the world is going to be fair. You expect that the world is going to be nice. You expect that the world will have integrity. And so I learned in that process that the world isn't like that, especially in the corporate structure. So I quickly assimilated to people that were older than me, that became really true mentors in my life. I did go back to school and got my bachelor's degree and went on to get my master's degree. Met a wonderful man that I married and had my second son. And so in the process of trying to find myself, realized that I had three key things about myself. One is my relationships with people. One is my true desire to serve. And the other one was to always be ethical and trust my gut. And I wasn't sure what career would have those components. But by assimilation and just going through realizing, okay, what would I do? Should it be business and should it just be general in business? I started to find myself gearing into the HR function, human capital, the people. And in realizing that I was being positioned, probably because it was my purpose, that I would eventually be somebody that worked in human resources to really just be an advocate for the people. Fast forward into my life, and I became able to travel internationally, where cultures and about people, and about the fact that in other countries, it's about really just understanding the culture before you make judgment. Companies would send me to different countries to say, you need to tell this leader he must not do this. You need to tell this leader it is not part of our policy. And in order to be heard, you have to understand where people are coming from. So when I went and I sat at the table, being a woman, being a black woman, I had to really humble myself and understand where I was before I came with the message from corporate. And if you learn anything from me today, I want you to understand that sometimes we can be loud Americans, but when we're in other parts of the world, we have to also humble and understand the nature of the different countries that we're in. Being in countries like Dubai, I'm a Christian woman in a Muslim country, and I'm sitting with leaders to share with them. It's really trying to understand what the connection would be. And so I found that the connection through all of this was one thing, and that was family. You know, to be able to sit down and hear a leader talk about his wife or his children, or just somebody sharing a moment or a story about their life and have a genuine interest is what sort of made me build those good relationships with leaders to then be able to navigate and massage my words and say, you know, this is not going to work. This is not part of our company structure. This is what I need from you. So that was sort of how I learned in my role as a coach, in my role as an HR investor, in my role as the human capitalist, how to work with leadership. So that's me in sort of a summary. I'd love to learn about you and what questions you have. So please, you know, we're here for conversation. So if anybody